What's going on, everyone? Welcome into the Chiefs Zone Podcast. My name is Farzin Vasugian. Merry Christmas to all of you. Hope you're all having a great holiday season. We've got a short show for you today. Still a lot of things to cover, but won't be as long as a lot of our other podcasts since it is Christmas Eve. And because it's a short week, want to give you guys enough time to listen to the entirety of this podcast before tomorrow night when the Chiefs play host to the Denver Broncos on Christmas night. Oh boy, I'm sure you're all very excited for that. Very much so. I mean, listen, when this week's biggest story is the Chiefs leaving for Kansas, that's instead of the game. I mean, it's been a really rough season. Yeah, see, Synth Scorpio 11 on Instagram says we're rooting to lose, baby. I think that is the consensus from good old Chiefs Kingdom this week. But nonetheless, we'll still talk about the game. We'll still break the game down and see what would we like to see in this game. Because what I wanted to see last time did not happen. And there's still 2 games left. So we'll get into that. Some NFL talk as well. I want to get into the DK Metcalf situation. I've yet to talk about that this week because he did receive a 2-game suspension. Who was in the right? Who was in the wrong? I do want to get into that. And there is someone who needs to be in the conversation for Coach of the Year. Nobody is talking about. I'll tell you who in a moment. Also, is this going to be Travis Kelce's final game at Arrowhead Stadium? We know there are not a lot of games left at Arrowhead. His might be tomorrow. His Arrowhead finale. We'll talk about that and break the game down, of course. This podcast is brought to you by SeatGeek. If you're looking for a last-minute Christmas gift and you want to save a little bit of money, hey, get your tickets at SeatGeek. You want to go see the Christmas Massacre tomorrow night at Arrowhead Stadium? You want to go see them in Vegas like me? Or you want to save for, I don't know, college basketball, the NBA, NHL, baseball season's coming up real soon? Guess what? You can get your tickets over at SeatGeek, and new SeatGeek customers can save $20 off your first order from SeatGeek. That's my Christmas gift to you guys. Use that promo code Farzine if you're a new SeatGeek customer, and you can save $20 off your first order from SeatGeek. All right. Anthony says, I want Denver to not get the number 1 seed. I get that. I remember in 2009, the Chiefs were massive spoilers against the Broncos when, remember Jamal Charles destroyed that Broncos defense and Derek Johnson got 2 pick sixes? I remember watching that, and that game prevented the Broncos from making the playoffs. That was their first year with Josh McDaniels. They started off 6-0. They look like the best team in the NFL. And I remember a lot of people wanted Josh McDaniels and Scott Pioli as a package deal in Kansas City. Oh, boy. That would have been interesting. Yeah, the Jamal Charles game, man. And the Derek Johnson game. Can't forget about DJ in that one, too. So, yeah, the Chiefs have played spoiler before. I know they talked about that in yesterday's press conference, specifically with Chris Oladokun, who was going to make his first career NFL start. Certainly, he talked about how this was unexpected for him. And he had a friend that wanted to visit just to see him in uniform and ended up getting more than he expected for sure. Look, I do want to get into the stadium thing. I'm going to keep it short because we've done nothing but talk about that this week. I know there are a lot of mixed emotions, reactions to all of that. And I'll say what I've been saying every podcast this week. If you're one of those people really, really, really upset that Arrowhead's going away, go enjoy and savor every moment that's remaining, because they've talked about possibly demolishing it. If they don't demolish it, I honestly don't know what it could be used for. Perhaps it could still be used for local college game. When I say local college, I'm talking like, Division II schools. What if they had Northwest Missouri State and Pitt State play a game there? I know they have in the past. In fact, I think they played at the same time as a Royals game. It's not going to be a game. Whatever you use it for in the future is not going to have a big turnout in terms of filling up every seat in that stadium. But listen, you owe it to yourself as a Chiefs fan to enjoy whatever's left of Arrowhead. And if you haven't been to Arrowhead before, gotta go before it goes away. So enjoy it while it lasts. Look, I heard Nick Wright's commentary, and I shared this morning, that he doesn't think a Super Bowl should ever come to Kansas City, and that it should be in bigger cities like Miami and I can't remember, LA, Vegas. Listen, I know Vegas hit a home run with their Super Bowl week, the week of Super Bowl 58, and they're going to go back very soon. I know they really like SoFi as well. Miami, they really like that venue as well. I don't expect KC to be an active rotation. Look, if you're one of those people who think the Chiefs, specifically Kansas City, will be an active rotation to host a Super Bowl, you're kidding yourself. Look, you got to know your place in the world. Kansas City is the 33rd or 34th biggest market in the United States of America. So, I mean, think about it. We have 32 NFL teams. If every major market had an NFL team, the Chiefs will not even be in the top 32. I mean, listen, and I don't know off the top of my head, like, who, where would the Chiefs rank for market size in the NFL? Probably near the bottom, because them moving to Kansas does make Kansas the smallest state population wise to house an NFL stadium, which is besides the point. But I think he's wrong to say that the Super Bowl does not belong in Kansas City. I mean, the draft was a home run in Kansas City. The NCAA comes to Kansas City for tournament games. They love it for regionals. And I can tell you, and I have it on good authority from the NCAA themselves, that they always push to try to come here for regionals. They love the venue. There are NBA scouts that come to Kansas City for the Big 12 tournament, and they think they're surprised that there's not an NBA team at the T-Mobile Center. So at the end of the day, I think this is a city, sure, it's Kansas City. Call it flyover state, flyover city, whatever you want to call it. I love Governor Kelly. She said, Kansas is not a flyover state, it's a touchdown state. That I thought was kind of interesting. But I think ultimately, look, you have a lot to do in this city. The Big 12 was kind of an active rotation with other cities, but they like what Kansas City has to offer better than anywhere else. When was the last time there was a Big 12 tournament not in Kansas City? It's been a long time. It's definitely been a long time. If I look at it real quickly on their Wikipedia, it has been, excluding 2020 because it was canceled. Well, technically they still played like a game or two because they canceled it in the middle of the whole thing. 2009 was the last time Kansas City did not host the Big 12 tournament. They were going back and forth with Ford Center and the American Airlines Center. But ever since the Kansas City, opened up the T-Mobile Center, I mean, they have been actively visiting Kansas City for Big 12 tournament games. Ever since they opened T-Mobile Center, I think it was 2007 when it officially opened, Ford Center. Or let me double check something. When did the T-Mobile Center open up? I can't remember if they broke ground in 2007 or that's when they opened. It opened in 2007, October of 2007. So the first opportunity they had to host a Big 12 tournament was in 2008, which they did. Then they took it to Ford Center, and they have not looked back since then. So that tells you what the Big 12 thinks. And listen, there are a lot of big markets that cover the Big 12, that the Big 12 covers, I should say. The NCAA, again, like I said, they love coming to Kansas City, man. It is one of their favorite destinations. Trust me on that when I tell you guys that. So at the end of the day, this is a city that has a lot to offer. So when you look at the draft and how successful that was, and listen, small markets have done a good job with the draft. Green Bay did a phenomenal job with the draft not too long ago. So it's possible to have major events in small markets. Now, does Kansas City need to work on some things such as transportation, hotels, traffic, those kinds of things? Yes. And there's a lot of time because you're not getting the Super Bowl the very first year the stadium opens. But you'll get a lot of attention. Because here's the other thing. A lot of people have said, why do you care about hosting a Super Bowl or a Final Four? You probably wouldn't go anyway. You're right. I probably won't. But I still want it for the city. Just because you don't plan to attend does not mean you can't want it for your city. Now, would a lot of residents complain, oh, there are a lot of tourists and it's busy right now? Yes. But folks, it's going to be temporary. It's only going to be week long at the max. The Super Bowl, the week of the Super Bowl, yeah, you're going to, that entire week, Monday through Sunday and probably a day or two after, it'll be pretty damn busy. But you'll be just fine. You'll be just fine for a week. I know there's a lot of other things, and we talked about this a lot yesterday, so I'm not going to go over it too much. But the whole, tax situation, why are people surprised that the Hunt family and the Chiefs took this deal? They were getting a damn good deal. Now, I think a lot of people are blowing it out of proportion how much this is, quote unquote, screwing over Kansas. Guys, Kansas has used star bonds before. Have they used it for a project this huge before? No, they haven't. But they've worked in the past for the Speedway, Sporting, the Legends area, Prairie Fire. Again, I recognize those things are not all as big as what this is going to be with the new stadium in KCK and the practice facility, the team headquarters facility at K10 and Ridgeview in Olathe. But I think people are kind of over exaggerating on that part of things. So before we move on here, can I just say this? We can all agree on one thing. Are we glad that this story is finally over? I mean, the part that's over is where are they going to go? Because that was getting really annoying. And I told you guys this about really around this time last year. It's like, why is this taking longer than it needs to be? Because even when they got that extension from the Star Bonds, I'm like, really? You really need another year of this? I mean, Kansas had to extend it legal terms for a year, but they wanted a deadline in 6 months at the time they extended it. Still 6 months too long, in my opinion. But hey, they got it done. They figured it out. And here we are in late 2025. They have figured out what they're going to do with the stadium. It's moving to KCK. Oh, one last thing I do want to get on here. So the governor of Missouri said that they're not going to give up on the Chiefs until the moving trucks are backing up. And I heard Mayor Quentin Lucas say the same thing. This has been said multiple times by the mayor and the governor on public addresses or interviews. This is like not getting over your ex and he or she is about to have their wedding in a week and you're like, oh, I'm not going to give up on them until they walk down the aisle, say I do. No, dude, it's over. Like, give up. It's over. I mean, something would have to really go wrong for that to not be the case. So, yeah, boy, man, sometimes you just got to take an L. Just accept the loss, move on, focus on the Royals. Just focus on the Royals. Okay, is this going to be Travis Kelce's final home game tomorrow? Seeing a couple of you guys are asking that in the comments here. I think it is. I think this is very likely going to be Travis Kelce's last game at Arrowhead Stadium. For two reasons. One, I don't think Kelce's retiring. I think Kelce has one more good year left in him. I thought Kelce was doing just fine. I thought he was well on his way to a 1,000-yard receiving season up until Mahomes went down. I thought there was a chance he might have gotten it with Gardner Minshew. Now he has no chance. Unless him and Chris Oladokun really ball out these last two games. But I am not banking on that whatsoever. So he's going to fall short of that again. but I thought he was more effective this year than last year, far more effective this year than last year. Especially when you look at his yard per catch numbers, way higher this season than it was a year ago. Last year was the worst he ever had in his career. So the work he put in the offseason certainly translated well. Was he perfect? No. But again, his age, all of that considering, and look, the wide receivers this season did not step up. But is it their fault? No. I think offensive scheme played a big role in that. Not utilizing Tyquan Thornton is seriously the dumbest thing I've seen this season. I mean, I've said this many times. Personnel decisions have been very suspect this year for the Kansas City Chiefs, especially on the offensive side of the football. But I think Kelce's got one more good year left in him. Now, the other thing is, I don't know if Kansas City's going to bring him back. Do they want to bring him back? Look, I know optics matters a lot in these situations. You don't want a great relationship like this to end. But listen, Tom Brady did not finish his career in New England. Michael Jordan did not finish his career in Chicago. A lot of greats don't stay with the same team. I mean, Jerry Rice played for a couple teams. So I think Kelce will play one more year. But is he willing to play outside of Kansas City? Because I don't think Kansas City's bringing him back. Number one, I think you just have to accept it. Maybe time to move on if you're Kansas City. The other thing is, let's say Kansas City actually did want to bring him back. I've told you guys the salary cap situation is not good. Almost $46 million over the cap. Yes, cutting Juwan Taylor and Mike Danna is going to help a lot. Trading Trent McDuffie might also be on the table. Very well on the table. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to say they can restructure Patrick Mahomes' contract, maybe Chris Jones. They have restructured Patrick Mahomes' contract many, many times. They've already done it with Chris Jones once, and it's already putting the Chiefs in a terrible bind with the salary cap for next year. If you keep doing this, you're just going to hurt yourself in future seasons. Now, sure, doing a new contract extension would help, but when have you seen a team go with a contract extension with about 3 or more years left on their contract? When have you ever seen that? I don't think they're going to do a contract extension with Mahomes. Sure, it might make sense to do it now because of the way the cap works and the way the Chiefs salary cap looks right now. But boy, man, here's my thing, because a lot of you guys keep asking me. I get this every single podcast. Everyone's asking, what should the Chiefs do? Should the Chiefs get Jeremiah Love? Is the question I'm getting in a lot of on a lot of podcasts. And truth be told, I have no idea. Number one, the Chiefs are in a bad place with the salary cap. So I really do. I can tell you what they need right now. A lot of things. They need a running back. A down-for-down running back. I'd like to see Kareem Hunt back as a number 2 guy for short yardage situations, but I don't think he's a good primary running back. They need help on the offensive line. I don't know if Kingsley Suamataia is truly the answer long-term at the left guard position. It's hard to find 5 great offensive linemen. You're not going to have the offensive line that Dick Vermeil had in Kansas City. You're just not. They were somewhat close when they had the great interior line up until they traded Tooney. But boy, that's going to be hard to replicate. Josh Simmons, he wasn't bad. He was fairly good, actually. But availability was an issue for sure with injuries and personal reasons. I mean, that right tackle position is wide open right now. Is it going to be Jalen Moore? Is it going to be Esapole? Who do you put at right tackle? You have options there. And the wide receivers, dude, the cap might go up. But man, I am going to die on the hill that this wide receiver, you can win with this wide receiver room. I just think you need a better offensive coordinator to run this offense. Now, keep in mind, I said to run the offense, not being the play caller. A lot of you guys keep pushing back on not a lot of you, very few of you, are pushing back on the offensive coordinator criticism that the offensive coordinator in Kansas City isn't the play caller. Listen, we've seen play callers get non-offensive coordinator play callers, non-play callers. We've seen them get head coaching jobs before. We have seen that. So not being the play caller is not an excuse for not criticizing Nagy. Excuse me. Matt Nagy deserves a lot of criticism right now. He's still the offensive coordinator. He has a lot of responsibility with the offense. I've always said, no, the offensive coordinator in Kansas City is not the play caller, but they are the enforcer. And Matt Nagy has not done a good job enforcing the offense with the players. He just hasn't. Tim Grunhard, Dave Zott, Will Shields. Yeah. Oh, boy. That was... And Will Shields truly is one of the most underrated players in NFL history. He's my favorite Chief of all time. But, man, that's a good offensive line as well, Brad. That's a great offensive line. I remember that back in the day. You know what the issue is with the Kansas City Chiefs right now? And I know we're kind of getting away from the Kelce conversation, but let's be honest. I think there's a serious consideration to move on from him. Even if he wants to play one more year, I think it might be time to play elsewhere if you're Kelce, if you really are willing to play elsewhere. But here's the thing. My biggest thing for the Chiefs going into that Tennessee game, go play your young guys. Go play Jalen Royals. Go play Jeff Bossa. Let's see more of Rashard Smith. We didn't see any of that. Why? Well, why not? Like, what was the purpose of even trying to win that game with your veterans? Which, by the way, you use your veterans, and I understand they lost Gardner Minshew. They were already without Patrick Mahomes. They're already without starting offensive tackles, and even the backup tackles are out. So you're literally using third-string offensive tackles, plural. Third-string offensive tackles, which is disaster for the upcoming matchup against the Broncos. But here's my thing. If you're not using your young guys, then you don't know what you have for your future. So you put out all your veterans trying so hard to win this game. You still got your ass kicked by a terrible Tennessee team that has a bunch of young studs. I mean, I guarantee you those Tennessee players in the locker room, they felt like Super Bowl champs. That was Tennessee's Super Bowl. Yeah, I get it. Anytime you beat the Chiefs, it is your Super Bowl, even on Kansas City's worst year. But boy, that was embarrassing. To have your veterans out there trying so hard and to not even come close to winning, that was bad. Not a single touchdown. And again, I get Chris Oladokun was your QB, but Oladokun was looking better than Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew from the get-go just looked lost. I was actually excited to see what Gardner Minshew could do because there was a chance he might be your week one starter next season. I don't know. But what I do know is, I mean, listen, you have a lot of young guys on the team that you're not even checking out or using. Let's see that. And I don't know what's going on with Tyquan Thornton or Rashee Rice. They're still in the concussion protocol. It sounds like you're just unofficially putting them on IR. That's what this looks like. And Nico Remigio is not practicing, or he didn't practice yesterday. We'll see what his game status is. But dude, if you're down Rashee Rice, Tyquan Thornton, and Nico Remigio, put Jalen Royals out there, man. This guy was supposed to be. And here's the other thing. Dameon Pierce is not expected to play. Look, I've seen players join the Chiefs on short notice and pick up the offense right away. DeAndre Hopkins played right away. I get he's a future Hall of Famer, but you know who else has played right away for the Chiefs in years past? Kelvin Benjamin. Remember when the Chiefs were down? I think Sammy Watkins, they went and got Kelvin Benjamin. He played right away for the Chiefs. There's another offensive player who joined the Chiefs right away. I'm trying to remember who that was. Hopkins was one. Kelvin Benjamin was another. I can't recall who the other guy might have been. Yeah, I can't remember, and I'm not counting Kareem Hunt because he kind of knew the offense before he got here. I remember Le'Veon Bell, who, listen, was great at the time when he was acquired, but Le'Veon Bell played right away for the Chiefs. Like, I've seen the Chiefs bring offensive skill position players and play them right away. But suddenly, in the last couple of years, they get Tyquan Thornton last year and they put him on the practice squad just so he can study and learn the team on scout team. Dude, Tyquan Thornton could have easily fit into your offense. I remember Justin Ross, who had all this talent, which, listen, in Kansas City's defense, Justin Ross is not. When Justin Ross got cut in July because he wanted an opportunity elsewhere, nobody bothered signing Justin Ross. He was on Kansas City's practice squad last year and nobody wanted him. I mean, Justin Ross had all this talent coming out of college, but during his time with the Chiefs, he struggled picking up the offense. It made absolutely no sense. LaShawn McCoy joined the Chiefs in the offseason. It was not midseason. Josh Gordon, thank you, Cecil. Josh Gordon, I remember being really excited about him. Like, oh, here's the other guy I was thinking of, Kadarius Toney. How could you forget Kadarius Toney? Kadarius Toney joined the Chiefs mid-season, and he picked up the offense right away. He looked great out there in 2022. Other years, not so much, but man, I just remember watching that thinking, wait a minute, I'm sorry, not LaShawn McCoy. Kadarius Toney picked up the offense way faster than Josh Gordon. And a lot of us thought that there was going to be a special player in KT for years to come. Unfortunately, it went in the complete opposite direction. Kadarius Toney was the unsung hero in Super Bowl 57 with that massive punt, or the longest punt return in Super Bowl history, only to just go from that to not even being able to catch a pass. It was a weird year, which again, I attribute that to the offensive coordinator. Go look and see who the offensive coordinator was from 22 to 23. What switch was there? I mean, these offensive issues started when Nagy became the OC, and I don't think that's an accident. I don't. So use your young guys. And to go back to Kelce, I do think this is his last game. Legends don't last forever. Nothing ever does. So if you're Travis Kelce, man, I mean, hats off to him. Great career. Broke a lot of records, both in the regular season and in the postseason. In my opinion, the best tight end in NFL history. What he's done will never be done again by another tight end for a very long time. There are some talented young tight ends like Sam Laporta, Brock Bowers, but man, you're just not going to see a tight end play at this high of a level ever again. His numbers are up there with Jerry Rice in postseason stats. I mean, the fact that you're able to do that, you're able to have numbers similar to Jerry Rice, that's impossible. Can you guys hear that in the background? Can you guys hear that? I've done a couple shows on Christmas or Christmas Eve before. I don't think I've ever done a podcast on Christmas Day, except for game days. But on Christmas Eve, I've done a podcast before. For whatever reason, my neighbor is choosing to clean up the leaves and do all that stuff on Christmas Eve. This happened before. You cannot hear it. Thank God. It is loud. I mean, it's not, 142.2 loud. But you guys can't hear it. Okay, well then I'm just being weird then. Wish the Chiefs had an opportunity for Bowers. Yeah, me too. Considering Bowers looks unhappy. I mean, dude, look at Devontae Adams. And we'll actually get into Devontae Adams in a moment, but if you saw the receiver series on Netflix, Devontae Adams clearly did not want to be in Vegas. He wanted out. He really wanted out. And he has reinvented himself with the Rams. So listen, even if you're a college player going to Vegas, that Raiders organization, that's where players' careers go to die. I'm sorry, it is. Remember when Randy Moss was a Raider? You don't remember? Yeah, I don't even think Randy Moss wants to remember that. I remember being upset way back as a kid when the Raiders got Randy Moss. I'm like, oh, shit. I don't think the Raiders won one game with him against Kansas City. So, is Nagy leaving or staying official yet? His contract is up at the end of the year, so we will see. And by God, I hope the Chiefs do the right thing and do not bring him back. Listen, speaking of actually, I'll get into the Rams later. I do want to get into the Steelers wide receiver DK Metcalf and what he did. It's unclear what happened, but a fan was saying something that got DK Metcalf's attention. DK Metcalf went over, grabbed him by his jersey. It looks like the guy looks like he's got he had long hair, but I don't think that's really his hair. I think that was a wig. But you can't quite tell if he's pulling onto the jersey or not because the wig is in the way. But DK Metcalf throws a punch, and I don't think he connected. The NFL came down with a 2-game suspension on DK Metcalf. Now, is a 2-game suspension out of line? I don't think it's out of line. Now, I'm not going to criticize DK Metcalf entirely. Look, I remember Marcus Peters when he was with the Rams. Somebody was shouting something at Peters. And I couldn't quite tell what it was, but I remember it going viral at the time. Peters got up from the bench and approached that fan, got right into his face, and that fan sat his ass down immediately. He could not have been more quick to backpedal. Look, dude, people say things on the internet that they would never say to someone's face. I mean, listen, this Chiefs thing moving to Kansas, I see so many arguments on my Facebook comments, my Instagram comments, and my Twitter mentions. Dude, the things that some of you guys, not all of you, and a lot of you guys have kept it civil with me directly, and I really appreciate you guys, but some of you guys interacting with one another seriously need to learn how to have a civil conversation with someone. I mean, the things that I see some of you guys say, it's like, I know for a fact you will never say that to someone's face. You absolutely would not. Now, this fan claims he didn't say anything racist. Okay, but you said something. You did say something that got his attention. And by the way, when DK Metcalf threw that punch, you can see him on the corner of the camera, putting his hands up, celebrating like he just accomplished something. I mean, dude, you're clearly a loser. You could tell that was the most exciting thing that's ever happened in that guy's life. He got DK Metcalf's attention. Good for you. Is that something you're even proud of? Listen, I criticized Jackson Mahomes for this. Remember when Jackson Mahomes poured water on some moron at the Ravens game a few years back? And listen, obviously, you don't see what happened before that. And I think the person who uploaded that, the guy who got water dumped on him, I mean, he was very selective on which part of the video to show. And listen, maybe he wasn't filming before that, but something led to that happening. Like, you said something. You said something. And as far as Jackson goes, listen, Jackson's not an NFL player, but he's a public figure now, and he has been for many years. Like, sometimes people just want your attention because that's all they have. Just getting your attention would be an accomplishment for them. Okay, so a couple of you guys are saying the fan is familiar. I'll be honest, I haven't read too much on this. So I did hear that on Infinity Sports Network last night. They were talking about it just for a little bit. Look, I think at the end of the day, if you're one of those people, and when I say one of those people, I'm talking about athletes. Why do people give a damn? Here's something I will address. I'm reading your comments, and I don't know how many comments we have tonight. Guys, I apologize. Actually, it's one of those sorry, not sorry type of things. I cannot read every single comment. It's impossible. And I come across comments occasionally that say, how come you never respond to me? I comment all the time. I'm a top fan. Do you think I sit by my computer or by my phone 24 hours a day waiting to respond to Karen696969 on Instagram? Do you really expect me to just be on standby and be ready to answer every question somebody asks me? Listen, I'll interact with people, whether I agree or disagree with you, but I'm not going to respond every single comment. Listen, whenever there's a big story, I will try to make an effort to read every single comment. But, with big stories, you have a lot more interactions, and it's hard to read every single comment. Listen, way back in the day when we did not have the amount of viewers we have now, I had a tradition where in the rare event when the Chiefs would lose, this is before the Mahomes era, this was, kind of mid Andy Reid, pre Mahomes, we would read every comment after a loss because people had more to say after a loss. We can't do that anymore. That would be we would have a 5-hour long podcast if we did that. It would absolutely be the longest podcast ever. But man, it's like, who cares? Why give these people so much attention? People say a lot of things. I mean, Travis Kelce, I think, has done a phenomenal job blocking out the Hollywood noise, if you will. So, for example, in the Super Bowl, leading up to last season, he was asked, who do you love more, the refs or Taylor Swift? It's like, first of all, who are you and what are you trying to accomplish here? Like, this is one big problem with the NFL. They accept way too many credentials to the point where you have dumbasses who are in there asking dumbass questions. But Travis Kelce handled that like a pro. He goes, great question. Who's got the next question? That is how you answer a troll. That is how you handle idiots like that. Not the way DK Metcalf did or Jackson Mahomes. Listen, here's another thing I will say. This was, I don't remember a lot of comments historically, but I do remember, and I don't remember that person's name. At the time, I recognized it because this person would comment over and over again. And this is like 4 or 5 years ago. Somebody was commenting over and over again. And they would always just have something weird to say about me or the Chiefs. And I'm like, you know what? I was going to give a smart ass response to them. I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to give this person an answer. And then I just remember one day this guy commented and said, I keep trolling you over and over again and you don't answer me. So this guy even notices that I ignore him. Now, again, this was way back when we didn't have as many followers, but you gotta chill out on giving these people attention. Hey, you know who should be in the conversation for Coach of the Year? Liam Cohen, baby. Liam Cohen. This guy, in his introductory press conference with the Jaguars, was mocked for saying, Duval. Now he's saying, Duval. I remember that game against the Chiefs. Everyone coming out of that game said, oh, the Chiefs are the better team. And I said at the time, I pushed back. I'm like, no. The better team is the team that wins. So not only were the Jags a better team that day, they're the better team right now. I mean, you put the Chiefs and the Jags in a rematch, and I understand injuries have occurred, and that's hurt Kansas City badly, especially at the quarterback position and the offensive line. But, man, even before the injuries, I would still pick Jacksonville. Jacksonville has turned into a much better football team. And we kept wondering for a long time when the Chiefs were in playoff contention, people kind of wondered what kind of a football team is Jacksonville? And I kind of wondered, is this a team that's going to decline? But then after a while, I just kind of realized, wait a minute, they're not falling apart. This might actually be a team. This might actually be a team that might win a lot of football games. They just beat the Broncos. They took care of the Broncos on Sunday. Bo Nix had a great game the week before, and we'll mention that shortly. No, Bob, see, you're giving those people too much attention. You don't need to be doing that. That's what they want. That's what they want at the end of the day. It's almost like the bully in school that tries to irritate you. And if you react the way he wants you to react, then he's just going to keep doing it over and over again. But if you ignore him and act like you don't give a shit, then he gets bored of it, and then he's miserable because no one can give him what he wants. But Liam Cohen, put him in the conversation for Coach of the Year. I don't think he should win it, but I think he has to be in the conversation. If you ask me right now, who would I give my vote to? I give it to Ben Johnson. It was Shane Steichen before the Daniel Jones injury and the collapse. But right now, Ben Johnson, 1,000%. And I think right behind him is Mike Vrabel. Listen, the Coach of the Year award is my favorite award personally because it's not who coaches the best team. It's which coach, which a lot of times these are newcomer coaches for that team, which coach can help this team go beyond expectations. Mike Vrabel and Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen have all done that. Now, I will say this about Vrabel. I thought the Patriots were going to be a playoff team to begin with. If you have paid attention, I don't think it's shocking that the Patriots are in the playoffs or they're going to go to the playoffs. Now, them being ahead of Buffalo, yes, that is a surprise. And the possibility of getting a number 1 seed, that's huge. So I think Vrabel's name should be in the Coach of the Year conversation. I would not put him ahead of Ben Johnson, but if he were to win it over Ben Johnson, I would not be upset with that either. Listen, I'm a big Mike Vrabel fan. If you ask me right now, would I trade Andy Reid for any head coach? The only coach I would switch him for would be Vrabel because of age. Because of age. That's it. That'd be the only reason. I'm a huge Vrabel fan, and I said it right away. Tennessee was going to regret it. And considering they fired their head coach already, not even a full 2 years, you can tell they regret firing Mike Vrabel. That was a dumb move by the Titans. I got a question for you guys. Are we going to have an interesting week 18 of the NFL season? I don't think we are, because I'm looking at the NFL standings going into week 17 rather. It's still, the whole 18 weeks versus 17 weeks is not, it still feels weird to me. But I'm looking at the playoff picture right now. On the AFC side might be wrapped up this week if both Pittsburgh and Houston win. Now, if Houston loses and Indianapolis can find a way to win, that might be an interesting Sunday night football game between the Texans and the Colts for next week, week 18, that is. But man, if Pittsburgh and Houston both win, and I think they probably will. Who is Pittsburgh playing? Oh, they're playing the Browns. Yeah, they're winning that game. They're winning that game. The Texans, I think the Texans have a fairly easy game also. They are playing the Chargers. Oh, that's actually more interesting than I thought. Okay. Because the Chargers, they're not declining, and they're doing real well. They're in the playoffs. I think we could have our 7 AFC teams determined going into week 18. Now, we don't know what order they'll be in terms of the seed, but on the NFC side, same thing. You have the Panthers. There's a chance the Panthers and the Bucks might play on Sunday Night Football to end the season. But if the Panthers can win and the Bucks lose, and if Green Bay wins one more game, Detroit's out of it. Tampa Bay then would be out of it. Did I say if Tampa and Carolina won? I meant Carolina wins and Tampa loses. And then you'll have your 7 NFC teams decided. So I don't know if we're going to have one of those eventful week 18 finales. I don't think we're going to have one of those. I remember last year it was between the Lions and the Vikings. Both teams were already in the playoffs. It was just to determine who would get the number 1 seed, if I recall correctly, and who would win the division. I remember a couple of years ago, they had the Lions and the Packers play the final game of the season, and neither team made it into the playoffs. Now, if the Packers won, they would have gone in, but the Lions had nothing to play for. They just played for pride and basically the role of spoiler, which they did perfectly. So I think the only good possible matchup would be the Panthers versus the Bucks, maybe Texans versus Colts, or Steelers versus Ravens. The Steelers and the Ravens play next week, right? Yes, they do. So those 3 matchups are on the table, but I would not be surprised if we have our 14 playoff teams determined before week 18. I hope that's not the case. You want at least one exciting week 18 game, but this might be one of the most uneventful Week 18 finales in quite some time. We have many reasons to celebrate this holiday season, and one of them should be the fact that DraftKings Sportsbook is now live in the Show Me State. That's right, Missouri. Your time is finally here because DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is now live in the Show Me State. And now you can make every game more exciting with same-game parlays, money lines, my personal favorite, touchdown props, and more. And the best part, you can do it all from your phone, and it is safe, secure, and easy to use. Look, even on a down year, Missouri fans know game day with the tailgates, the passion, and the noise. And now with DraftKings Sportsbook, you can bring that same energy to every game, every touchdown, and every win. And for all of you in the Show Me State, here's a nice little Christmas gift because new Missouri customers can bet $5 and earn $300 in bonus bets instantly. No waiting, no nonsense, just pure action from America's top-rated sportsbook app. And I'm going to give you my picks for Thursday and Saturday games as we have 3 games on Christmas, all division rival games, starting with the Cowboys visiting the Commanders. I'm going to go with the Cowboys in that game. Then you have the Lions visiting the Vikings, the Lions trying to stay in the playoff hunt. I'm going to go with Detroit in this one. Then Christmas night in Kansas City with the Denver Broncos coming into town. I hate to say it, but I think it's going to be a Christmas massacre, so the Broncos are going to take care of business in KC. Then you've got the Texans visiting the Chargers on Saturday. I am picking Houston in this one. Rounding out the 5 games, this one's going to be a good one. Baltimore at Green Bay. This one's going to be exciting. It's going to come down to the wire, I think. I'm going to pick Green Bay to win that game. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use my promo code ChiefZone. New Missouri customers can bet $5 and earn $300 in bonus bets instantly. That is with promo code ChiefZone. The crown is yours in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
All right, welcome back into the Chief Zone podcast. And for those of you commenting, Merry Christmas. Appreciate the podcast. Hey, appreciate all of you guys. And a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to all of you as well. Bob says, can't believe the Chiefs, Ravens, Detroit, Bengals are not in the playoffs. The Ravens and the Bengals, no, the Bengals are out. The Ravens and the Lions still have a chance, but it is very unlikely. Yeah. I mean, if you told me before the season that Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow were all going to miss the playoffs, I would not have believed you. I mean, surely at least 2 of those 3 would have gotten in. No, none of those 3. None of them. And look, if you're Josh Allen, it is what you do not have Patrick Mahomes. You do not have Joe Burrow. Those 2 QBs, Mahomes and Burrow, 5 times combined, have put an end to Josh Allen's postseason. Not in the way. And you might have to play 4 times to win your first ever Super Bowl for yourself and for that franchise. But I think it's on the table. Like if Buffalo does not win a Super Bowl this year, I don't want to hear an excuse. Because there was no Patrick Mahomes, so you can't cry about the referees this time. There's no Joe Burrow. You can't complain that someone just had the better team than you. You just cannot complain this time. Those guys that have been in your way they are literally out of your way. So you better go win it if you're Josh Allen. All right, let's get into this game. Chiefs, Broncos. We are all excited about this one, right? Hopefully we see the young guys, but who knows? The Broncos are 12-3, tied with the Patriots and the Seahawks for the best record. Chargers and Patriots, they are rooting hard for Kansas City in this one. Boy, that'd be a nice Christmas gift for those teams, but do not expect it. This will be on Prime Video with the announcers Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit. Referee is going to be Bill Vinovich. The Chiefs are 13.5-point underdogs. I will pick the Broncos to cover. I will pick the Broncos to cover that. You know where my score is going already. Surprisingly, the over-under, well, maybe not surprisingly, the over-under is at 36.5. I would not be shocked if the Broncos cover the over-under by themselves in this one. Let's see. The injury report. I went over Kansas City's injury report. A lot of players have been unavailable for Kansas City this week. We know Tyquan Thornton and Tyquan Thornton, Rashee Rice, and Nico Remigio. They are all out with injuries. Thornton and apologize here. I'm trying to pull something up here. There we go. Thornton and Rice are in the concussion protocol. And then Remigio is dealing with a knee injury. Trent McDuffie's not practicing. Derek Nottie was limited in practice. So you have a lot of guys. Jalen Watson, you have your two best cornerbacks, your two best wide receivers, all unavailable for you. And you're already down your offensive tackles. Now, Jalen Moore was practicing this week. He was limited on Monday, was a full on Tuesday. Tuesday. We'll see today what happens. He's not on IR yet. So we'll see. Esapole is dealing with a knee injury. This has not been a good year for Kansas City's offensive line. Now, Esapole appears to be okay. He's practicing, but boy, this has been an injury-riddled season from hell. As far as the Broncos side of things, Nate Atkins, Pat Bryant, Drake Greenlaw, and Luke Wattenberg, they have not practiced this week, and my guess is you do not need those guys. Let's be completely honest. You do not need them at all. This Broncos team, coached by Sean Payton, former Super Bowl champ with the Saints back when Drew Brees was there, offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi, 30 years coaching, has not been perfect. I think they're playing somewhat better than people are giving them credit for. 10 the total offense, 8th in passing, not great at rushing. They're below average in that category. Now, the scoring part could be higher. They're averaging just over 24 points per game. That's 13th in the NFL. They've got the 12th best third down offense, and they're 11th in the red zone. Bo Nix has the second highest completions and attempts in the league and 6th in passing yards. He's got 24 touchdowns and 10 picks on the season. He's been sacked 17 times, so not getting hit too much. The offensive line has done him a lot of favors this year, and no surprise when they're led by Garrett Bowles, Quinn Miners, some elite offensive linemen on that Broncos offense. He's had a couple of good games recently. So against Green Bay, boy, he lit it up in that game. That was his best game of the year. 4 touchdown passes, only a week later to have just 1 touchdown. Now he's had back-to-back 300-yard passing games. He's only had 2 before these 2 games. So he's got 4 300-yard passing games this season. And yeah, when you're losing in a blowout to Jacksonville, a one-sided game, you end up throwing the ball much more. But you are starting to see a little bit of a turn with Bo Nix recently, not just in the last game. I know the last game's not the greatest reflection of that. But he had that great game against Green Bay. And a lot of people thought Bo Nix was going to struggle in that one. Against Kansas City, he almost had a 300-yard passing game. He was 24 of 37, 295 yards, no touchdown passes, no picks, but had almost 300 yards in this one. J.K. Dobbins on IR, but their rookie running back, R.J. Harvey, averaging exactly 4 yards a carry. He's got almost 787 total yards of offense. R.J. Harvey's been great for Denver's offense, filling in for J.K. Dobbins. 469 yards rushing, 318 receiving yards, 11 total touchdowns. He had 3 games in a row with 1 receiving touchdown. Man, this is a guy that I would have loved to see in Andy Reid's offense. And RJ Harvey was a guy I was really hoping the Chiefs would have gotten. I remember seeing him in UCF and just how great he was there. But unfortunately, the Chiefs did not get him. They're using Brashard Smith, who I think can do some good things, but we're not even seeing him in these preseason type of games for Kansas City. Courtland Sutton, 972 yards on the season. He is 12th in that category, 7 touchdown receptions on the season. He's got a touchdown in 3 of the last 4 games. They have Troy Franklin as well out of Oregon. They got last year. He's got 6 touchdowns on the year, almost 700 yards receiving. He had 4 receptions for 84 yards against the Chiefs. Evan Engram got almost 400 yards on the season. They also got Pat Bryant, Marvin Mims, part of their offensive depth at the wide receiver position there. So that is the Broncos offense in a nutshell. Their defense, coordinated by Vance Joseph, who was a former Broncos head coach, ended up coming back to Denver. He's a phenomenal defensive coordinator. The most sacks in the NFL the last 2 years, the Denver Broncos, they've got 63 on the season. The next best is Atlanta with 50. And then the Myles Garrett Cleveland Browns have 49. And then you have the Steelers not too far behind with 43. But man, Denver, a big gap between 1 and 2. So this is a Broncos team that's done a lot of things right on the defensive side of things. Starting with the guys up front on the edge, Nick Bonito, 12.5 sacks, the 5th most. Jonathan Cooper, who's been quiet recently, only 1 sack in the last 6 games. And it's not one whole sack. He actually split them in 2 different games. But hey, still getting pressure. John Franklin Myers has 7.5 sacks. Zach Allen, 6.5 sacks. Zach Allen's a beast. 6.5 sacks. The way he plays that defensive end position, I think, is what a lot of Chiefs fans hoped for from Tyson Jackson several years back, but unfortunately was never the case. Oh, breaking news. Brock Bowers placed on IR. A knee injury that he's been battling all season. Okay, well, that's unfortunate for him. But back to this game. And they also have DJ Jones. He probably gets the least amount of coverage from that defensive front there. But, dude, DJ Jones can do some serious damage for you. Alex Singleton, man, props to him. What a year it's been for him with his health and coming back to playing football. He's the defensive anchor there. And that secondary with Pat Surtain II, the son of former Chief Patrick Surtain, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And they've also got a really great safety, a really underrated safety, and Hufanga, who doesn't get enough attention, in my opinion. They also got Dondre Tillman, got a couple of picks on the season. Riley Moss, not a good cornerback, and you saw the Chiefs kind of expose that in the last time these two teams played, but I don't think it's going to matter when you're going up against Chris Oladokun, and maybe Shane Buechele gets some playing time in this one. The special teams unit for the Broncos, Darren Rizzi, who's also been coaching a long time, 27 years. Will Lutz, just above average, 22 of 26 on the season. Jeremy Crawshaw, they really like him. He's done a good job punting for them. Tyler Beatty, their kick returner. Marvin Mims Jr. This is one of the best returners in the game right now. He had a 70-yard punt return against Kansas City. He has 408 punt return yards on the season. That leads the NFL in that category. If the Chiefs somehow score 10 points before garbage time scoring comes into play, I will be impressed. I think the Chiefs will get maybe a touchdown in garbage time. I don't know how this is going to go. Not good. I know that much. I'm going 31-13 Denver to win on Christmas in Kansas City. Not going to be good. You guys are all predicting the same thing. If you're picking the Chiefs to win, go put some money on DraftKings, because that will help you out very much so. Hey, listen, I know a lot of you guys may not be back tomorrow because it is Christmas. So if that's the case, hey, completely understand. I don't even think we'll have that long of a post game anyway. Let's be honest. A lot of people would rather continue talking about the Chiefs moving than this game. I mean, that's the way it's been all week long. We'll see how tomorrow goes. Maybe we'll end up having a long discussion about tomorrow's game. We'll see. But we will have a pregame live chat. It'll be at 10 a.m. Central Time. And then halftime, we'll go live after the game. We will do the Chiefs Zone podcast live. Maybe we're talking about a win, maybe not, and maybe you guys would be okay with a loss. So we'll still do the Chiefs Zone podcast live. I'll have the link for you guys to call into the podcast. So make sure you guys join me for the post-game show on the Chiefs Zone. I'm Farzin Vasugian. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. If you're traveling, be safe. If you're going to spend time with friends, family, have a great time. If you are working on the holidays, I've been there before. It's not fun. Props to you guys. And hopefully you guys get somewhat of a break at some point in the coming days. So Merry Christmas to all of you. I appreciate you all for a great podcast and really a great week with all the interaction this year. It's been a lot of fun. I greatly appreciate it. We still have a couple more episodes before the end of the calendar year and really the end of the season. So we'll still be here. We ain't going anywhere. We know it's going to be a very busy off season, which will start on December or January the 5th, rather, for the Chiefs. Once again, I'm Farzin Vasugian. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Take care. Talk to you all tomorrow.